Welcome to Daywalker Customs. Today we're going to do a requested video on an explosion box. I actually got this one that you see here from svgcuts.com, and I had posted it out on Facebook, and people said, how did you make that? Can you show us how to make that? And so that's what I'm going to do today. Bear in mind, this is only my second box. So with that said, I'm going to use these cardstock papers. I have blue Cricut glitter cardstock I'm going to use for some of my embellishments. I also have this Seasons cardstock, which is two-sided cardstock, which is really kind of cool. The yellow dot and the flowers are from that. And then I also have the AC cardstock, which is from American Crafts, and I got that from scrapbook.com. And that is the teal, the dark pink, the yellow, and the light pink that you see there. It's really nice, medium weight cardstock. It's got a little bit of texture on it, but a real nice cardstock to use. So once you have purchased the files from svgcuts.com, then you will get a zip file that you'll need to extract. And when you extract that zip file, you're going to get Explosion Box, svgcuts.com, and then SVG files. Inside of that folder, you have all of the pieces that you need in order to make the box to cut with your Cricut. You have the external layer, which comes in three different types. You have the plain, you have the folded, and the rounded. You have extras, which are like your flowers, frames, the pockets, some things like that that you can print extra if you need to. You have the lid, which is three. You have the plain lid. Oh, there you go. You can see it. You have extras, which are scalloped and stitched. And then you have the four main parts of this, which are your embellishments, your interior, and your middle. These are your layers that you're going to use and your embellishments for those layers. So once you have them extracted and you're ready, then we're going to go over to the Cricut Design Space and we'll get started putting these together. When you first launch Cricut Design Space, you're going to see this screen, and you'll have some of your projects that you've created as well as others that are available from Cricut and Cricut Access. We're going to click on New Project, and then we will upload the pieces and parts that we need to make this explosion box. And you will choose this option here to upload image. You'll browse to where your files are. You should have already unzipped them. I'm going to choose one of the layers for the exterior. I can choose the plain one, or there is a folded one or a rounded one. We're just going to go with the plain one today. You'll open this up and you'll see it on your space, and then you will save it. Okay. When you save it, and I've already saved it, it's here on your recently uploaded images, and you can click that and insert. But we're going to add all of the files first before we do that. So I've gone ahead and done the upload image and chose all of my files. We have the plain lid, the plain bottom, some additional embellishments here. I've got the scalloped lid, which we're not going to use. I've got the middle layer, I've got the interior layer, and then I've got embellishments 1 and 2 here that I've already uploaded. And so what you would do is then combine. You would say, okay, I want this one and this one, and I want these, and I'm going to include, nope, not that one, this one and this one, this one and this one. And you would select all of those and say insert images. And that will allow you to put all of those images here on your canvas. And it takes a minute because this is a lot of pieces that I've selected. Once it loads, they're all in a pile, and you can drag them apart. You can change your zoom down a little bit so you can see, and then you can just drag them apart so that you can see all the pieces that you've pulled in here. As you can see, I've got multiple pieces, and then I have these little guys that I've added too. These little extra embellishments. that I wanted extra little pieces. So now I have my top, which was this one, my bottom, which is this one over here. Actually, we'll put those next to each other. And then I have embellishments 1 and 2. That would be these guys. And then I have my interior and my middle. Okay. The middle is a little bit bigger than the interior is. That's how they're going to stack. Because they're going to stack the bottom, then your interior, then your middle. And then you'll put your top on. But these are embellishments, obviously, for decorating those 4 pieces, basically. Now that you have your images all on the canvas, you can also choose to make more copies. Like if I wanted more of these, I could make additional ones. I could also make a couple if I wanted them a little bit smaller to go with. I could add a couple of those. Control C, Control V to just copy and paste them. Same thing here, Control C, Control V. Make some copies of these. Maybe I want that one a little bit bigger, maybe not quite that big. Control C, V. So I can, I can add additional ones here that I want, so that I have a variety of what I want to be able to make. Then you would pick your cardstock and your colors that you want to make this with. If you wanted to have a printed cardstock for the outside, you could print this one in a printed cardstock. If you wanted the lid to also be printed cardstock, you could do that one as well. If each of these have score lines, okay, and you're going to have to go in over here and you're going to have to change these score lines to score. So change them to score, and then you're going to combine them back, select both of them, and attach in order to attach the score lines. All of these have this. That's this one. We're going to have this one is going to be the score lines. And then we'll take both of those pieces and attach. And you'll want to do that with each one of these. You'll want to take that first element, which says cut, and you want to change it to score. And then attach both the elements together. Don't think this one has any scoring on it. It does not. This one does. This one, that is the score lines. And then we'll attach those. And then one last one to do. We have this one is going to be score. And attach. Okay, so now we've got all the scoring attached and set up correctly. Let's go back to this. If we wanted to ungroup this, we could do that. We would have to detach it first and then ungroup it. Then we could pull the lid off and make the lid just a certain color if we wanted to. This is also a pocket up here. We could make that a different color. You can split these off and make them any way you want, but basically this is just an entry-level one, so we're going to do it in the colors that they have. We'll have a colored for the bottom, for the top, for the insides, and for the embellishments. We'll just do 6 different papers, cardboard stock for this, and then I'll probably use the same cardboard stock for these. In fact, we'll get these all together, group them, and then you can go over here to this color sync. This works really cool. If you go over to color sync, you can actually take that and you can drag it to one of these colors, or drag one of these colors onto it to combine. And so we want to combine them. I'm going to actually combine them with this one, this embellishment one here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it down to this embellishment. I want them all to be the same color, the same cardstock that I'm going to be making. So we're just going to drag those all down there. Okay, so now these two, this one here and this one here, are going to print in the same cardstock. And then this one will print in a separate one. So once you're ready, you're going to click Make It. So once you come in to make it, you're going to have all of your mats here on the left hand side, and you should see I have 7 different mats, And then I'm going to select my material, and I'm actually going to use a medium cardstock because that's the 80 weight cardstock that I have right now, and it tells me what I need to load. You're going to go back and forth between the scoring wheel and the fine point blade as you cut each one of these. So I'm not going to go into actually cutting them, putting the mats in and doing that part. If you need instruction on that, there's videos on those as well out there on YouTube and Jennifer Maker's site and places like that that'll show you how to actually put your mats in, get your paper out, and that type of thing. We're concentrating on actually making the explosion box during this video. So we're going to go ahead and get all our cutting done and get it all laid out, and then we'll come back and we'll actually assemble this explosion box. Okay, so we're going to get started. And this is the first explosion box that I did, and I actually put it out on Facebook, and people were asking me, how did you do that? So that's why I'm doing this video today. This is only my second box, but we're going to try to put it together. The thing I like about this is you take off the lid and it just kind of explodes, which is kind of cool. You've got all these layers inside of the box that you can embellish. This one has 3 different layers. And I embellished all along the sides. I used just the embellishments that came with the box, the flowers and things like that. There's frames that you can use for pictures. You definitely can add pictures and things like that in there. And we're going to kind of follow this pattern and this kind of idea with the second box using the new cardstock that I talked about. So we're going to get started with this box. This is my cardstock. This is my outside. So that's going to be what we're going to embellish first. And then this layer goes on top of the outside layer. And then this is the inner, more middle layer. And then this will be the top to the box. So we're going to embellish those as we put those together. I have lots of flowers. I have the printed ones. They're printed on both sides. I have the yellow ones. I have pink ones and teal ones, and even the glitter ones, which I added kind of last minute. And we have frame backgrounds that you can use to stick pictures on, or different frames you can add. And then we have these little pockets that creates a little pocket you can slip something into, like a card or something. And then I have these dots that we can use. There's the little round dots that you can embellish centers or things like that with. So we're going to get started embellishing the outside of the box first. That's kind of where I started with my other box, is kind of with the outside, and then kind of worked my way in. So I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to just work with the outside of the box first. And this is, it's scored, so you can fold it up so you can kind of see how the box is going to set together. But you just kind of fold all 4 sides here, and then you can fold up the box to see what the box is going to look like. And it gives you an idea of, you know, where to put your embellishments when you're doing that. So this is what my box is going to look like when I fold it up. So I can decide which sides, or if I'm going to do all 4 sides of the box that I want to put embellishments on. So I'll be putting it on these 4 sides here. I could also put something on the bottom if I wanted to, like this blue has cutouts on it for like stitching. It's really cute. Or I could put this round pink one on the bottom. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on the bottom because you're not going to see it much, but I think I will maybe put this one on the bottom, as I think that looks kind of good. And I'm going to go ahead and use this glue stick that I have. You can use any kind of permanent glue, really. I have glue dots that we'll be using as well. These are the small ones. And I have larger glue dots too that I'll be using as part of this project. And have some tabs as well. These are the double-sided sticky squares tabs that you can use. These are the thin ones, but there are thicker ones to kind of give it that loft. So we're going to use the glue stick, and we're going to glue this one onto the bottom. So I'm covering this all the way around. And then we'll just get that glued right. Put it centered in the bottom and give that a minute for it to set. So I'm going to do all 4 sides now, and I can do them all the same, or I can make them a front and back or whatever, but I think what we'll do is I'll show you a little bit and then we'll take a break and I'll do a little bit off camera and then we'll come back and we'll kind of review what we've done, but that way you won't be sitting there just watching me put every piece together, and you'll still get an idea of how to put this together and the overall box effect. So we're going to start off with this one side over here. And I think that I want to kind of make this into a frame with some flowers around it. So let me see, I think maybe we'll use this printed frame right here. This would look nice. I could do it this way, or I could turn it and do it this way. But I think that's what I want to attach to this one side. So we'll do that first. Again, I'm going to use my glue stick here. You could use regular glue or you could use a glue stick. Either one works fine. You just want to get that adhered onto that piece. So I'm going to center it where I want it to go and kind of press it down in place. You have to kind of hold it while it adheres. Get that pushed down real good so it's going to stay. And then I think I will add maybe some of the glitter flowers to the front. I like this circle here too, this, or the swirly, this kind of cool. So maybe we'll put the swirly there. I'm going to use my glue dots for this though. I like how small they are for one, and they also adhere really well. So you just take them and you kind of stick them to the back of it and kind of pull the paper away. You just stick it on and pull that paper away. Sometimes you have to be careful the way you're pulling the paper away, because sometimes it wants to tear the actual paper. So you have to be really careful when you're pulling it away. See, like this one's stuck. So be careful not to tear my paper when I'm pulling it off. Sometimes I use my fingernail to kind of help dislodge that a little bit. Put a couple more on here. Again, it's kind of sticking there, but they are glue dots. So, and we'll get our last one on there. And then I have them here, 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 and there. So that'll be enough to stick those down real good. I kind of centered that. That's the bottom, so I kind of want to center that along here and then just push it down to adhere it real well. One thing I like about the glue dots is it's like, it's on there. Now it's on, and I don't have to wait for it to dry, which is nice. So then we're going to try and put on, let's see, I'll put on this flower. This is double-sided. It's like the yellow dot, but it also has the white dot with the yellow on the other side. So I can use both pieces, kind of give it a contrast. And I could put it with maybe one of these teal flowers. Kind of bend them up a little bit, give them some depth. I'm going to use the larger glue dots on this one. It's big enough on the back, I can use that, and it holds it really good. So I'm going to stick that on there. And I have to use my fingernail a little bit to help that come off. It's pretty sticky. And I get that off of there, and then I can set my first flower down and put it about here. And then I'm going to use another one to put on the back of this yellow flower. I'm going to turn it over though and show the white side with the small yellow dots. I'll give it some contrast here against the back. Smooth that out so that the glue's not hanging over the edge. can kind of move that glue around a little bit with your finger and then just stick it in place there. Kind of bend it up a little bit, give it some dimension. That looks kind of cool. And I could use one of these little round dots for the center of it. I'll use this one. I'll use one of my small glue dots to adhere that on the back of that. And just push it down and then pick it up. And I can put that in the center. So there's my first side done. So just a frame and swirl and a couple of flowers, and that could be the front side of my box. It's already done, so it didn't take long to do one panel. So we'll come back as I do more of these, and then we'll pop back in the video and kind of show you my progress. And you can be working while I'm off doing this, and then we'll catch up and we'll come back and do the other sides. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back, and I have completed the 4 sides for the outside of the box. And as you can see, we did that left, the rightmost one, and then I added these other 3. So this one, I just kind of put this pink panel on there and then added a couple of flowers. This one, I actually did the little tag, so you could write something underneath of that if you wanted to, and kind of be kind of your message box. And then the final one, I kind of used the pink and the glitter flowers again, and I might add a little rhinestone or something like that to that center there. But this is the outside of my box, pretty much finished on all 4 sides now. So pretty happy with that. And now we're going to start working on the inside. So I'm going to lay this down like this, and I'm going to get my first layer, and this will be my teal layer, and that's going to go here. And we'll want to fold the scored sides in on this all the way around. And then basically we can decorate all 4 of these sides, and actually the underneath of them too, which is the inside of the box. So we could decorate here and then decorate here, and do that all the way around. So you'd have actually 8 different places you'd be able to decorate on this. So we're going to kind of center this, and then we'll add the decorations to all 4 sides, or all 8 sides. So the center itself is actually going to get glued down, and it'll be glued to the back of the outside, and then the middle layer is going to get glued to that as well. So we won't need to decorate the center at all. We'll just decorate the sides here, and then the insides here. So I'm going to be adding glue to this section of the bottom here to be able to adhere it to the outside edge. So using quite a bit of glue here, so that it'll stick really well. And this has kind of gone on kind of thick, so I'm going to thin it out with my finger a little bit, so that it'll be more smooth and cover that area, and won't have like bulky pieces in it where the glue is like sticking up. And I use this little wet paper towel I keep by my station when I'm doing that, to wipe off the glue off my fingers. So I'm going to center that and get it right where I want it to be, and then push it down real good in the center. Let that set and adhere real good. And then this is the next layer, and again we'll be gluing the bottom on that as well, because that's how that's going to be positioned here. With the multiple layers. And then you can see you've got the outside layer, the middle layer, and then the inner layer that'll get decorated. And then once we have these glued and also decorated, we're going to fold the box up like this. This is how it folds up, and kind of all inside of the box like that. That's how it'll fold up. And then we've got our top that we will also fold and get ready to go. And we'll actually do that. I'm going to fold on the score lines. It's easier to fold the score lines toward the printed, what would have been the top that would have been scored first, and then fold them the other way too. It's a little bit easier. Fold it up, and then you can kind of fold in the little tabs. There's a long part and a little tab on each one of these pieces here, and just keep folding those and crease them real good, and then fold them the other way and do the same thing with the little tabs on the end here and the last side. And then this is how they go together. You put the glue spot on the small tab, which I'm going to use one of the larger glue dots. Get 4 of them off because I will need 4 of them. So take the first one and we'll stick it on that little tab right there. Pull my paper off. And then I'm going to put the edge of the next one over right along that crease. And that's how you glue the corners together. And make sure that you don't have any glue sticking out. Push that in a little bit. And then we'll take the next glue dot, put it on that little tab. Use my thumbnail to help pull that paper off. It's sticky. And we'll fold that over and put that. Sorry, my camera kind of wasn't picking up real good here. And then I'm going to do the other 2 corners. And that closes up the top to my box there. And just kind of crease this a little bit, and so then I can embellish the top of my box. I can put flowers on it. I could put I could put the round decoration on it, or the square one. So just audition some different pieces, or think about how you want your top of your box to look like, just like you're going to do with the other panels. Try a swirl here or try a flower and just kind of audition them, put them on and see which ones you like the best. It's all personal preference, and that's part of being creative, right? We can get to choose whatever we want it to look like or what we think our gift recipient would like. We can just tried all kinds of different combinations. So that's the creative part of this, and I think it's the most fun, is just to try and figure out what you want it to look like. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and I'm going to work on this, and then when we get back together, we'll kind of review what we've done and go from there. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have finished a couple of things for the box, and also I finished the top. I added some bling here in the middle of the flower, and I've added some other flowers here, including the little glitter flower. And so the top of my box is done, and then I added the envelope to the center of the bottom of the box, the very inside. So you got this little gift tag thing that you can stick in here. And so when they open it up, this will be the center of the box, and you could write on the gift tag, you could write your sentiments or happy birthday or whatever on that and stick it in there, and that'll be the focal point for the inside of the box. So we're going to go ahead and work on the other sides, and then we'll come back and show you the progress. And you can work on your boxes too while we're gone off on this break, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're back and I've done two sides of the box and I did all three layers of both sides. So this layer over here, I've got the little envelope that I've added on here. And then I put the swirl with a glitter flower there and another flower here. This one I added the yellow background and put a couple flowers on. This one's got the frame with some flowers and the swirl with some flowers. So those are the layers that I've got done here. So I really like how these layers are starting to come together. I think they're unique and they're pretty, and so it's been a lot of fun putting these together so far. So we're going to take a break and I'm going to work on more, and then we'll come back and we'll catch up once I get a few more of these done. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, so we're back and I've done another side here. So I've added a pocket there and I added the little flower here and another little flower there. So I've got three of these multi-layer sides completed. And I finished up these two sides right here and I left the last one so we could kind of do it together. So kind of finishing up this last layer. I'm going to add a couple of flowers. So I'm going to use my big glue dot here, put it on the back of this pink flower, and stick that one on. And I'm going to put a little bit of a glue dot there and then stick this yellow flower on top of it. That'll look good. And then maybe I'll use one of these little gems that I have. I have some of these that I've been adding periodically. And put that on a glue dot on that and stick that in the center to kind of finish that off. And that's pretty much it for the box. I've used most of the pieces that came with this pattern. So that is the box is finished now. So you've got fold this up. And that's how that would go. And hold this while you put the top on. So it's fun to try and put the top on because you've got pieces sticking out. Your flowers are sticking out. I guess I could have more strategically placed those flowers so that they would be below where the top fits down. But it's you just kind of work with it a little bit, tuck them underneath, and try and get the top to sit on there. And so then there it is. There's the box all finished all the way around. So you can kind of tuck this underneath here. And then you've got the box finished. So this turned out pretty well, I think. For my second box, I'm pretty happy with it. The paper really makes the box, though. I think it's really pretty paper, so I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm sure your box turned out just as good, and it's kind of fun to pull the top off and watch the explosion of color and look at all the layers that are inside of these exploding boxes. They're kind of fun. So thanks for joining us here at Daywalker Customs, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please leave comments below, and please share your pictures below. We would love to hear from you as well. So you have a great day, and thanks again for joining Daywalker Customs.